Hi everyone, it's Adrian.
And I'm Carrie.
And for this episode, we are going to talk about Individuel by Mont Blanc. How would you pronounce it? How about you do it?
Mont Blanc Individuel.
Oh, okay. So the name of the perfume is Individuel, which would be French for,
Individual.
yeah, okay. So I've tested this fragrance on me for a few days now, and it's a blue fragrance with powder. I mean, I'm being too simplistic. I'm sure there are other notes in it, but that's the impression I get from it. So, what are the notes in this?
Okay, well, get ready for this because there are 22 notes in this.
We don't have to list everything, but what do you think, the notes that are of
The ones
import?
that people talk about most are in the top lavender, cinnamon, and pineapple. And then the mid notes or the heart notes are orange blossom, violet, and geranium. And then in the base, interesting, raspberry, vanilla, and sandalwood.
Raspberry.
Raspberry and chocolate,
Oh, really?
vanilla, and sandalwood. Yeah, so you
Wow.
kind of have a little bit of like an ice cream delight there or something.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, is that why it smells like a powder?
Maybe, yeah. There's several different notes in this. It's fairly complex. 22 notes is a lot. And so when you start getting that much stuff together, it's hard to pick individual things out. So some things kind of blend up into sort of just something sweet and nice and a little spicy. And then every once in a while, you can kind of pick something out in particular.
Well, how about like what makes it blue? What notes make it blue? Because, it's blue powder. We already figure out the powder. We're like the one that makes it like an ice cream treat. But, what makes it blue?
Probably some of the things, like some of the fruity stuff like pineapple, some of the more spicy things like cardamom, bergamot, violet and stuff, jasmine. Those things maybe have in common with kind of blue fragrances and make it sort of soft, dusty, powdery.
What is this? A cologne or perfume?
It's an eau de toilette.
Eau de
So
toilette. Oh, it doesn't even say. Okay.
So I would say the occasions I would use this for, or that I think this is really appropriate for, are warm or cool but not cold weather.
Okay.
I think of this as kind of a daytime fragrance. It could be an evening type of a thing, but it smells a little bit more kind of powdery and informal. So, fine for office, fine for things where you're going to be sort of in crowded situations or something. I don't think of it's overpowering. It's pleasant, but it's not something I think that's a head turner.
Okay. And tell us more about Mont Blanc.
So, Mont Blanc, the the real original Mont Blanc, or the quintessential Mont Blanc, is the mountain in Switzerland, Mont Blanc, which has a year-round snow cap on it. Now,
Oh.
Mont Blanc, the company, is a Swiss company that has been famous for making quality writing instruments. In other words, very expensive, first fountain pens and then roller balls and mechanical pencils for about 100 or so years. And then Mont Blanc started into perfumery maybe in 15, 20 years or so ago. And so they have quite a few nice ones out. This is a newer one. It came out in 2003. So it's not real new, but it's newer than some of their original ones. Now, the Mont Blanc itself, the mountain, has a snow cap on it year round. The Mont Blanc pens have an emblem on the top of it that looks like a little snow crest, and it looks like this that you see on top of almost all of the Mont Blanc fragrances. So that's the Mont Blanc emblem. The sort of little, it sort of looks like a 6-point star, sort of like a snowflake,
Yeah.
or sort of like the top of a snow-covered mountain if you have a pen that is more mountain shaped.
Wow. So that opens to another question. From pens to perfume. Is it because of ink? Is the ink is a liquid, perfume's a liquid? What?
I don't think there's any good explanation for it other than a company that just decides to branch out a little bit and stuff. I think there's a lot of money to be made in perfumery if you hit it right.
I see.
Because honestly, and I've said this before, what's in the bottle probably doesn't cost as much as the bottle in most cases. What you're paying for is brand and kind of an exclusivity or hype, and sometimes some expensive ingredients. Like in Creed, they use a lot of ingredients that are pretty pricey.
I see.
Not all of them, but some of them.
Okay. So you spoke of the bottle, right? And so let's talk about this particular bottle. Why did they go with this style? I mean, it looks big, just looks big, but it's really like
Paper thin.
yeah, it looks like a flask for alcohol
Yeah,
and stuff.
You can see the top down is very thin. From the side, it's almost razor thin. So it does sort of have a flask-like look to it. There's some other Mont Blanc fragrances that have a similarly shaped bottle. Some of them are a little wider at one end and the cap is over here. Really awkward to try to spray. But this sort of a thin, flat, sort of a flask look is one that is seen through a few of their different lines over the years. They've also got quite a few others that the bottles are absolutely different than this and different from each other. So I think it was just because this is a kind of a tinted fragrance. They wanted to put a certain sort of an idea along with it, and for some reason a thin, flat bottle made them think it was very individual.
Okay. It does make an impression that it's much bigger than it looks, but how many mLs is this?
This one is a 75 ml bottle.
Oh, okay.
The only way you would know is looking on the bottom where you can see a sticker there. And that also tells you the concentration eau de toilette.
All right.
There are larger bottles. I don't think that there's a smaller bottle than this one, but there are, I think, is a 100 ml bottle, which isn't much bigger.
Okay. So if you guys enjoy what you watched, just like and subscribe. And if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, just leave it in the comment section. Bye-bye.
Bye.